6 months ago, I played a video game called DEADSPACE for the first time. I did not know what I was in store for. I was not prepared, and I literally shat myself multiple times and could only play in 10 to 15 minute intervals because every time I would try, my palms would sweat out of control to the point where I couldn't even hold my controller properly, let alone click any of the fucking buttons. And the sound, the tension, my heartbeat raising every time they would chase after me. Creatures that represent probably the most scary virus I've seen in fiction, period. Some could mention the zombie virus from The Silence or The Crossed or the Flood from Halo, but I'm gonna be honest, this for me takes the cake. These creatures are insane. Creatures that are a direct result of viral bacteria caused by the changing and altering of an environment by these celestial objects, these unknown origin black objects called markers, seeded through planets across the universe. And when they go off, everything around them changes on a biological level, resulting in them, the fucking necromorphs. In my opinion, this is the scariest virus in fiction. The necromorphs are insane. When they chase after you, it's the scary, not xenomorphs, nothing in video game or movie history will scare me as much as these motherfuckers chasing after me, right? They are reanimated corpses, a form of mutated and reanimated dead tissue created by alien cosmic virus derived by the markers, these objects, planted in worlds, and we don't know why, for what purpose. They are highly aggressive, the necromorphs, attacking living beings on sight. Their ultimate goal is to create more necromorphs to spread the infection and cause a convergence event, leading to all of them getting thrust into the air and joining together in this biomass of flesh and disgustingness. A massive planet-sized necromorph called a brethren moon. Before they get to that point, you have to survive them and not get mutated and infected, and that's really hard because killing them itself is a difficult task. You can shoot off their limbs and they still won't die. They have speed, strength, durability because of the way their flesh and muscles molded. Muscle starts overtaking where the organs are supposed to be, making them harder to fucking fight. They can regenerate, they have bone protrusions that can stab into you and tear you apart. They're Goliaths. It's a mess trying to fight them. In the video game, I'm trying to aim for the legs, the balls, the throat, everything, and it's really hard because you got two of them. They're all coming from each side. They're flanking you. What the hell am I supposed to do? And they look like mini Cloverfields, the way they're running after you with those two long limbs of theirs. It's fucking disgusting. Not to mention the hive minds, basically connected necromorphs building onto this biomass. Basically, it looks like a queen of what the necromorphs are, but they're all in the hive mind, and even these are hard to kill. But obviously, look at them for God's sakes. And that's the thing. These necromorphs, when they join, when you're infected, you're plugged into a hive mind, a collective consciousness. You don't have your humanity anymore when you're here. This is a lack of free will. That's essentially what this is. You're all one now into this flailing matter of disgusting anti-life nothingness. Not to mention the infector. The marker isn't the only thing that spreads the infection along with the normal necromorphs you see. There is this flying bat creature of theirs called the infector, which, think of it like a flying face hugger. It flies around, jumps onto people to further spread the mutagen, to accelerate the rate of infection overall. This is a scary system of spread designed to consume everything. It's designed to be ready to consume everything en masse. It's very, very brutal, and it's very, very OP how fast this infection is caused. It makes me think that this was a designed process. It's like built into the system of the universe. So basically what you have here are creatures that, if you were to see them in a live action film, because there's been animated movies about this, but live action it would be a mix of The Thing, xenomorphs, any zombie virus like the zombies from Overlord, and Cronenberg level body horror meshed into one, where the human form is being violated. It's disgusting. Babies, children as well, are turning to necromorphs, getting violated. It's not your traditional zombie film. And then there's a cosmic horror aspect to this. What lies beyond? What is the true origin point? That's the one question. Well, how does all this begin? Where do the black markers that cause all this infection, where do they come from? It's theorized, okay, they come from the Brethren Moon, this massive planet-sized body of necromorph mass. It sprouts out these markers like a human would sprout out nails or hair, right? And then shoots them across the universe and the galaxies. Basically a seed planting its will over everything, so everything can turn into the Brethren Moon. But markers are how things get infected to turn into a Brethren Moon in the first place. So this becomes a chicken and egg situation. Did the marker come first or the Brethren Moon? The Brethren Moon can only be caused by a marker infecting everything, but the marker can only be created by Brethren Moon. Which one fucking grew first? It's a mystery and it's unanswered, I think, in the games. I googled it and no one could give me a proper answer why. This is very much like the Xenomorph and Queen situation. Which came first, the Queen or the egg? Ridley Scott decided to answer that question for us, which... It's David and the engineers, blah, blah, blah. Fuck off. Some have theorized there was an ancient alien civilization that created these markers for some purpose. Maybe the purpose went completely wrong, and the markers, whatever they were supposed to do, they went rogue and killed their makers. Who knows? Or maybe there are evil makers. Evil is an evil ancient civilization. Evil gods that want to destroy everything. Maybe there was a living planet. This is my theory, that there was a living planet that couldn't birth life, so decided to act like a universal tumor, taking everything with it. And that's where it birthed the markers, so it could spread its influence faster and in a more efficient way. Or the markers, the black markers, came first before a Brethren Moon did, and they were a universal constant, a celestial normalcy, like a star or a comet. All right, there was like that, and they just happened to be there. We don't know why. They just existed since forever, like any other celestial body would. The way they function is the opposite of any other celestial body. I like this theory because it indicates to us that the universe has a built-in fail system for life. The universe's natural state doesn't have sentient organic life like us. We are the tumors. We are the cancer. Not the Brethren Moon, not the Necromorphs. We are the problem. We shouldn't exist by natural law. So it built in a safety mechanism in the form of these black markers that would basically nuke all the life around it and turn us into these disgusting heaps of biomass that collects all the life in the universe, which is the reason why there's not much life in space that humans can observe. Not intelligent life, that is, because it's all been sucked up by the Necromorphs and the Brethren Moons due to these black markers being seeded everywhere. And now humans are next. That's a very terrifying concept, y'all. Now, in my opinion, the origin question should not be answered. I like the idea that it's hinted at rather than fully answered, because there needs to be mystery there. It shouldn't be like what happened with the Xenomorphs. Hollywood, if they were to adapt Dead Space properly, beyond the animated films and all that, if they were actually to make a real film, I'm really afraid that they might try to answer this question, and because they're fucking stupid and the writers lack talent nowadays, they might not be able to. Remember what happened with Ridley Scott's movies? They tried to over-explain the origin of the Xenomorphs so much, and the origin of human life in general, by the way, that they ended up doing this whole thing where David created a strand of xenomorphs, but the engineers also might have created it first, and they're bioweapons. You know, like, you ruin the mystery of them. You also ruin the mystery of the space jockey. Ridley Scott decided to make it canon that they're engineers, retconning the original first Alien movie. I don't want them to do some shit that, oh, it's revealed that the markers were created by humans way back as a way to destabilize the population and keep us in check. I don't want any bullshit like that, and I know Hollywood will do some shit like that. Don't do that. Make it cosmic horror mystery. That's the appeal. We know Hollywood, when it comes to live action, purely live action video game adaptations, they suck balls. Sonic the Hedgehog, good. They had some other video game movie properties I can't remember, but there's some recently that have been decent, but some, Assassin's Creed, World of Warcraft, some haven't been that great. I might make a whole video on the Assassin's Creed butchering that they did. In my opinion, to get Dead Space right, you need to really come to terms with a few things. One, the Necromorphs are not your typical horror zombie-like villain. They're not that. They are too grotesque for elevated horror, too existential in their true nature for creature features, and too gory for mainstream studios. If we're doing Dead Space right, that is. Any studio can make a film about people being chased by space zombies in a ship. That's not hard. I'm saying if we want to have a substantial, and by that I mean filled with substance. I probably could use a better term for that. Substantive? I don't know English. But what I'm saying is, if you want to make a Dead Space movie that has the depth to it that all the fans want, you can't go that way. Plus, I don't want this to be a CGI fest. There needs to be a blend of CGI and practical effects. Lord of the Rings style. Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park, not the Jurassic World shit. That's what we're looking at here. This needs to be dark, brutal, eerie, and unanswered. Hollywood doesn't like doing that because they like wrapping everything in a nice bow, but Hollywood can't. We've seen films where they can do that, where you don't know what's happening. And humanity kind of loses. Like, they're fighting a losing battle, and it ends that way too. you're looking at a bleak story here when it comes down to it. You need the perfect combo of writer and director with the right studios. I don't want any of these streaming platforms taking control. Fuck that. And I definitely not Paramount after what they did to Halo. But the problem is, I think Dead Space works well as a TV show. There was like rumors or something. People thought that there was like a fan poster of Pedro Pascal having a Dead Space show. I know fans are going to go crazy off that if he's casted in this as a lead role. But still, what I will say is I do think Dead Space deserves a TV show, not 1 or 2 fucking movies where we don't know if we're getting a trilogy movie that'll, complete it. No. I think this should be a mini-series or 2 seasons at the very most. A TV show to fully flesh out the events. But I don't want it alien earthed, where we're making up random shit and we're trying to add on random things to the lore that don't make sense. No. You already have enough material and lore to cover your bases. You don't need to make bullshit up. You need to make a story that builds up the mystery of the Church of Unitology. What are they? This weird cult, almost. This weird religion that seems to worship this object, this marker, and we don't know what it is until it's fucking too late. And then you have the entire story building towards a confrontation with the fucking celestial moon, hinting at the origin of what these things are, where they might come from, but you never actually show what the true origin is, okay? Now, Hollywood has made films that that occupy a story that could be seen as Dead Space. They made a film called Dead Space with Bryan Cranston in 1991, I think. It's not. I don't even know what to say about this. It's not good. It's not good at all. And I don't think it has. I think it has very little to do with the actual games, but still. Then you had, in my opinion, the closest thing we've seen to a live-action Dead Space, which is the Zygote short film from Oat Studios. It's not Dead Space, but think about it like this: it has a crystal that makes everyone go crazy, causes people to kill each other, and then they all their dead bodies form into this mask, this hunk of flesh that starts chasing people with multiple limbs. Like, that's very Dead Spacey. And its location as well is very Dead Spacey. Modern studios don't really want to gamble on the smarter aspects of a story like this. They want to gamble on what looks cool for a trailer, the horror, the pure horror aspects, right? But I think there's a lot to reap from this story when it comes to the cosmic horror aspects, especially cosmic insignificance, because that's what Dead Space is kind of about. Humanity confronted with the fact that they are nothing in the grand scheme of the universe. The universe is an empty void, and there are cosmic forces at work here that we don't know what the fuck they are, and they can destroy us all in a whim. I love that. I love that element of the story, especially when it comes to the fact that there's a forbidden knowledge out there in the universe. And humanity, in the form of a black marker, the cult of Unitology is trying to figure out what this is, trying to get this knowledge for themselves, but that ends up causing a loss of sanity in the human mind. Trying to find the unknowable makes you lose your minds. Again, another reference to the cosmic insignificance. See, when it comes to forbidden knowledge making people lose their minds and getting destroyed, movies like The Lighthouse have done that concept well, but the problem is The Lighthouse is an art house film, right? It's not your traditional horror sci-fi film. There's a balancing act that Hollywood would need to do with a film adaptation of Dead Space. The only movie that I think Hollywood should take from when it comes to making something like this is Event Horizon. Because Event Horizon deals with the aspects of cosmic horror very well. It deals with the aspect of forbidden knowledge and a realm that we cannot comprehend, and how powerless humans are in that realm. I think that's the only way Hollywood can adapt Dead Space properly, if they go into those themes. This isn't just, zombies on a ship. This is not that. There's so much more to this. And it's my favorite lore out of all the games I've been recommended by my film audience. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Bye! Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.